Welcome to USMLE Concept. In this video, we are going to be looking at the pathophysiology of Parkinson's disease, a concept that will be very useful for you in your USMLE Step 1. So let's take a deep dive into the pathophysiology of Parkinson's disease. But before we do that, let's look at some basic neuroanatomy and physiology. First of all, let's look at the composition of the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia is going to be made up of the putamen, the caudate nucleus, and the globus pallidus. These three components together form what we call the corpus striatum. The caudate nucleus together with the putamen constitute what we call the striatum, whilst the putamen and the globus pallidus forms what we call the lentiform nucleus. So you want to take note of that. Now, out of these structures that are located in the basal ganglia, the striatum constitutes the major input nucleus of the basal ganglia. The major input nucleus of the basal ganglia will be the striatum because it receives both glutamatergic input and dopaminergic input from the cerebral cortex and the substantia nigra pars compacta respectively. When it comes to the major output nucleus of the basal ganglia, that is going to be the globus pallidus. So the globus pallidus constitutes the major output nucleus of the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia is what helps us to make smooth and purposeful movement. When we want to move voluntarily, the basal ganglia is the structure in the brain that is going to be in charge of that. But the basal ganglia does not work in isolation. It has to work with the help of neurotransmitters. And some of the neurotransmitters, we can talk about glutamate, we can talk about GABA, that's a gamma aminobutyric acid, and we can talk about dopamine. But today our focus is going to be on dopamine since we are dealing with the pathophysiology of Parkinson's disease. Now, this is how the normal physiology is going to be. The substantia nigra pars compacta has dopaminergic neurons that synthesize dopamine. And when they produce the dopamine, it's going to be relayed to the striatum via the negro-striatal pathway. Now, when the dopamine gets to the striatum, what does it do? It is going to inhibit the subthalamic nucleus. Once the subthalamic nucleus is inhibited, it will decrease the stimulation of the globus pallidus interna. And once the globus pallidus interna is less stimulated, what that means is that we are going to be having activating signals sent to the thalamus. Once the thalamus is activated or stimulated, it will also go ahead and send excitatory signals to the motor cortex to perform voluntary movement. So that is going to be the normal physiology of event. Substantia nigra pars compacta has the dopaminergic neurons, which are going to be synthesizing dopamine. That will be sent to the striatum via the negro-striatal pathway. And once the striatum has the dopamine, it is going to inactivate the subthalamic nucleus. Once the subthalamic nucleus is inactivated, automatically the globus pallidus interna ceases to be what? Stimulated. Once the globus pallidus interna is not stimulated, that will result in the activation of the thalamus. And once the thalamus is activated, it will be sending excitatory signals, that's through glutamate, to the motor cortex. And the motor cortex will be increasing voluntary movement. And that is how we are going to be making purposeful movement, voluntary movement without any restriction. Now, what happens in Parkinson's disease is that in Parkinson's disease, there is going to be degeneration of dopaminergic neurons where in the substantia nigra pars compacta of the midbrain. And when that happens, it means we are going to have little dopamine reaching the striatum. It means that the negro-striatal pathway is going to be compromised in a way because we are not getting the dopamine from the substantia nigra pars compacta. And when that happens, once we don't have the dopamine reaching the threshold to stimulate the striatum, automatically what will happen is that once the striatum does not receive enough dopamine, that will result in the activation of the subthalamic nucleus. So the subthalamic nucleus becomes overly activated. And if it's overly activated, it will also be stimulating in excess the globus pallidus interna. And once the globus pallidus interna is stimulated enough, it will inhibit the thalamus. It will send GABAergic signals to the thalamus, inhibiting it. GABA is the major inhibitory neurotransmitter in the CNS. So via that neurotransmitter, the globus pallidus interna will be inhibiting the thalamus. And once the thalamus is inhibited, it will cease to send excitatory signals to the motor cortex. In that case, the motor cortex becomes inhibited in a way. And that will result in a decrease in voluntary movement, where the patient will be exhibiting bradykinesia, rigidity, which is usually coccygeal in nature, and resting tremor. And that is what we'll be referring to as the features of what? Parkinson's disease. Okay. So that in short is the pathophysiology of Parkinson's disease. But again, let's look at how dopamine works. When you look at dopamine, it has receptors. Receptors, two of them. We have dopamine D1 receptors and dopamine D2 receptors. Anytime dopamine reacts with the D1 receptors, it tends to activate the direct pathway. And what does the direct pathway do? It promotes movement initiation. Whenever dopamine reacts with dopamine D2 receptors, it inhibits the indirect pathway. The indirect pathway, what does it do? It stimulates the movement inhibitory circuit. And the movement inhibitory circuit, what does it do? It inhibits voluntary movement. So to prevent that inhibition of voluntary movement, dopamine will react with dopamine D2 receptors and inhibit the indirect pathway. And that will result in the blockade of the movement inhibitory circuit. And when dopamine reacts with both D1 and D2, the resultant effect is that voluntary movement is going to be improved. Voluntary movement will be activated. So in Parkinson's disease, what we are going to have, since there's less dopamine as a result of the degeneration of the dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra pars compacta of the midbrain, that will mean that we'll have less dopamine to stimulate the D1 receptors, meaning the direct pathway will become compromised, it will become inhibited, and movement initiation will also become compromised or inhibited. Then the D2 receptors will become free since we don't have enough dopamine to react with the D2 receptors. And if the D2 receptors are not inhibited by dopamine when it reacts with them, then that will mean that the indirect pathway becomes constantly activated. And once it's activated, it promotes the movement inhibitory circuit, leading to the inhibition of movement. And that will give rise to the symptomatics of Parkinson's disease, where the patient will be exhibiting bradykinesia, rigidity, which is going to be coccygeal in nature, and resting tremor. Another thing that you have to pay attention to is that the globus pallidus interna and globus pallidus externa, they perform different functions. While the globus pallidus interna is stimulated by an overactivated subthalamic nucleus, which will result in inhibition of the thalamus via GABA neurotransmission, the globus pallidus acts differently. It rather inhibits the subthalamic nucleus. It rather deactivates it. And when it deactivates it, that will promote voluntary movement, because once subthalamic nucleus is deactivated, globus pallidus interna will not be stimulated. And if it's not stimulated, the thalamus becomes activated. And when the thalamus becomes activated, it will be sending excitatory signals to the motor cortex to what? Cause voluntary movement. So globus pallidus externa favors voluntary movement, whilst globus pallidus interna inhibits voluntary movement through the blockade of the thalamus. And you know what will happen further, right? Now, in Parkinson's disease, the degeneration of the dopaminergic neurons is actually initiated by the accumulation of misfolded proteins. And those proteins, we refer to them as alpha-synuclein. The accumulation of misfolded alpha-synuclein in the neuron terminals is what is responsible for the degeneration of the dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra pars compacta. And this misfolded alpha-synuclein makes up what we call the Lewy bodies. The Lewy bodies. Because of that, we'll say that the pathological hallmark of Parkinson's disease is going to be Lewy bodies. Lewy bodies. Lewy bodies are not only pathological hallmark of Parkinson's disease. Lewy bodies are also noted to be the pathological hallmark of the following diseases. Which disease are we looking at? We are looking at what? Lewy body dementia and multiple system atrophy. These are all conditions that have Lewy bodies as their pathological hallmark. And that, in short, is the pathophysiology of Parkinson's disease. That brings us to the end of another Delali USMLE concept. See you in the next one.